You're sitting there right now, aren't you? Maybe it's late at night, or maybe it's the crack of dawn. The world's quiet, but your mind is screaming. You're replaying every moment, every memory, every single time they said I'll be there, only to vanish when the storms came. And now you're wondering, was it something you did? Something you said? Were you too much? Not enough. Let me tell you something that's going to change everything. Let me tell you why this moment, right here, right now, might be the most important moment of your life. Because what feels like your breaking point, it's actually your breakthrough. Think about it. Remember how it started? The little things at first. The unanswered messages. The canceled plans. The way they'd look through you instead of at you. You noticed, didn't you? But you ignored it. Because that's what loyal people do. They give others the benefit of the doubt. They make excuses for those they love. They're just busy, you tell yourself. Things will get better. But they didn't get better, did they? No, they got worse. The silence grew louder. The distance grew wider. And then it happened, the moment when you needed them most. Maybe it was a crisis. Maybe it was a dream you were chasing. Maybe it was just a regular Tuesday when everything in your world came crashing down. And where were they? Gone. Vanished. Like shadows at high noon. Here's what they don't tell you about betrayal. It's not just about the pain. It's about the awakening. It's about the moment you realize that the people you would have died for wouldn't even live for you. It's about understanding that sometimes the biggest favor your enemies can do is show you who your friends aren't. But this isn't a story about them. This isn't about their weakness, their cowardice, their inability to recognize gold when they held it in their hands. No, this is about you. This is about what happens when someone tries to extinguish your fire, only to discover they've just poured gasoline on it. You want to know what makes you different? What sets you apart from them? It's not that you're perfect. It's not that you never make mistakes. It's that when life hits you with its best shot, when the world turns its back, when everyone else runs for cover, you stand. You might be shaking. You might be bleeding. But you stand. Let me tell you what they're not ready for. They're not ready for your comeback. They're not ready for the person who emerges from this darkness. Because here's what happens when you're forced to walk alone. You learn to navigate by your own light. You develop instincts they can't understand. You build strength they can't comprehend. Think about a diamond for a moment. Do you know what creates a diamond? Pressure. Darkness. Time. Sound familiar? That's exactly what you're going through right now. While they're out there living their comfortable lives, playing their small games, you're being forged into something unbreakable. But let's be honest, it hurts. The nights are long. The silence is deafening. Sometimes you catch yourself reaching for your phone, wanting to call them, wanting to ask why. Wanting to understand how they could just walk away like you meant nothing. Like all those years, all those memories, all those promises were just words written in sand. Stop. Put the phone down. Take a deep breath. Remember who you are. Remember what you're becoming. Their chapter in your story is over. It's time to write your own pages. And trust me, these pages, they're going to be epic. You see, while they're out there seeking validation, counting likes, desperately trying to convince the world they're happy, you're doing the real work. You're facing your demons. You're healing your wounds. You're rebuilding yourself from the ground up. And that's the kind of strength that can't be faked. It's the kind of power that can't be bought. Let me tell you what's going to happen next. It's already starting, isn't it? Those small moments of clarity. Those glimpses of who you could be without their weight holding you down. Pay attention to those moments. They're not just glimpses, they're previews of your future. You're going to start noticing changes. The way you carry yourself. The way you speak. The way you think. Your tolerance for superficial relationships? Gone. Your need for constant validation? Disappearing. Your fear of being alone? Transforming into an appreciation for solitude. This is where most people get it wrong. They think being alone is a punishment. They fill their lives with noise, with people, with anything to avoid facing themselves. But you're different now. You've learned that solitude isn't the absence of connection. It's the presence of self-connection. Want to know what's really powerful? It's not just about surviving without them. It's about thriving because they left. Every achievement from this point forward, it's yours. Every victory, every milestone, every moment of triumph, it belongs to you and you alone. No one can claim they carried you. No one can say they made you. You built yourself from the ashes they left behind. Think about that for a moment. While they're still playing the same old games, living the same old lies, you're evolving. Every day you wake up, you're a little stronger, a little wiser, a little more certain of who you are and what you're worth. That's the kind of growth they can't understand because it's the kind of growth they're too afraid to pursue. Here's what's going to shake them to their core. Your silence. Your absence. your refusal to play their games anymore. They're waiting for you to break, to come crawling back, to admit that you need them. But you're about to show them something they've never seen before, someone who turned their rejection into rocket fuel. You want to know what real power is? It's not in having an army behind you. It's not in being surrounded by yes men and fake friends. Real power? It's in being able to walk alone through the storm and come out stronger. It's in knowing that your worth isn't determined by who stands with you. It's determined by how tall you stand on your own. There will be moments of doubt. Moments when the old you tries to resurface, tries to convince you that maybe you were wrong, maybe you should reach out, maybe you should try one more time. Listen to those thoughts. Acknowledge them. Then watch them pass by like clouds in the sky, because that's not who you are anymore. You're becoming something they can't comprehend, a person who doesn't need their approval, their validation, their presence to be complete. You're learning the most valuable lesson life can teach, that everything you need, you already have within you. And here's the beautiful irony of it all. The moment you truly accept being alone is the moment you'll never be lonely again. Because you'll have found something most people spend their entire lives searching for: genuine self-acceptance, unshakable self-trust, and the kind of inner peace that comes from knowing you can weather any storm. They thought leaving you would break you. Instead, it broke the chains that were holding you back. They thought their absence would define you. Instead, it freed you to define yourself. They thought you needed them to be complete. Instead, you completed yourself in ways they could never understand. This is your moment. Right here, right now. The moment you decide that their departure wasn't your ending, it was your beginning. This is your moment. Right here, right now. The moment you decide that their departure wasn't your ending, it was your beginning. The moment you understand that every person who walked away just cleared the path for your destiny to walk in. The moment you realize that sometimes losing everyone is the only way to find yourself. You're not just surviving anymore, you're preparing to thrive. Every tear you've cried? That's water for your growth. Every sleepless night? That's time invested in your transformation. Every moment of pain? That's strength being built. Every betrayal? That's a lesson in self-reliance. And here's what they'll never see coming: your comeback isn't going to be loud. It's not going to be dramatic. It's going to be silent, powerful, and absolutely undeniable. While they're busy creating stories about why you failed, you'll be busy creating a legacy they can't ignore. Remember this moment. Remember how it feels. Because one day, and that day is coming sooner than you think, you'll look back at this time as the turning point. The moment when everything changed. Not because of what they did to you, but because of what you chose to do with it. This is your story now. Your journey. Your triumph. And the best part? It's just beginning. Every step you take from this point forward isn't just a step away from who you were. It's a step toward who you're meant to be. So stand tall. Walk proud. Let your silence speak volumes and your success scream even louder. Because the greatest revenge isn't getting even, it's getting better. And you? You're about to show them exactly what better looks like. Remember, it's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. And every day you stand on your own, every time you choose yourself, every moment you embrace your solitude instead of settling for their mediocrity, you're doing exactly that. The world is about to meet a version of you they've never seen before. A version that doesn't need their approval, doesn't seek their validation, doesn't beg for their attention. A version that understands that standing alone isn't a weakness, it's your superpower. So let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them regret. Your focus isn't on their words anymore, it's on your actions. Your growth. Your journey. Because while they're busy watching your life from the sidelines, you'll be busy living it on your own terms. And that, my friends, is the most powerful position you could ever be in. Not because of who stands beside you, but because of how firmly you stand on your own. The question isn't whether you can do this alone. The question is, who's going to be able to stop you now that you've found your true strength? If this message resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below and tell me your story of rising above betrayal. Remember, your greatest chapters are often written alone.